How you going? How's my hair? Shit. Gotta remember to do that. I need a haircut. Definitely need a haircut. Look at this. It's usually number 1 down the sides. Terrified of getting a haircut here, though. Terrified. I reckon they'll make me look Asian. I haven't seen many variety in haircuts here, so it makes me think that if I go in for one, asking no matter what I ask for, I'll either come out with that one or like a monk, which a monk's a preferred option, to be honest, over the two. Anyway, hit me up in the comments if you live local and you get a haircut. I'd love to know where to go because, yeah, I'm here in Buriram, or Surin. I'm closer to Surin, so if you hit me up with that, that'd be great. But I thought today I was going to share with you actually a bit of a silly story, but it's got nothing to do with Thailand or Thai chicks at all. But it has got to do with travel. I got a little bit of feedback on my butt washing video, and it made me think of another little story I had about travel that, fun enough, almost also had to do with taking a dump. So you may or may not want to listen. You can probably tune out about now. Mum, just tune out. You've probably heard this story, Mum. I've probably told you anyway. Tell me, Mum, everything. So I was travelling and I was going through Morocco. And in Morocco, we decided I was travelling with the ex-girlfriend at the time, and we were deciding we would do a camel trek into the Sahara desert. So, seemed like a great idea. The brochure looked great. And we paid up, and we were in Marrakesh at the time, so we had to get from Marrakesh down to a little place right down the south called Mazuga. Mazuga's a long, long way. So we jumped in this little minibus with about 8 or 10 travellers. The only ones that spoke English were myself and my girlfriend. And there was a Portuguese guy there who spoke a little bit of English. He was pretty good. The rest from all over the world, no, useless. And our driver, his name was Mohammed, and he was full African Mohammed. But unlike most people in Morocco that speak about 27 different languages, because for tourism they have to, we got the one guy who all he could speak was French and Afrikaans. So, now I speak a little bit of French, so I did okay, but still not great, you know. Anyway, so because no one could really talk to him, he decided the whole journey, which was 8 hours in this minibus, right? The only tape that he had that he could play, he thought in English, that we'd all been impressed with, was a Cat Stevens best of. Now, I'm not bagging out Cat Stevens, and he's got a few great tunes, but I reckon that cassette, both sides, went for approximately 50 minutes. So I heard that fucking thing so many times. I never want to listen to Cat Stevens ever again in my life, or whatever he's called now. I just don't want to listen to him. Anyway, that's not part of my story. I got sidetracked a little bit. Anyway, so 8 and a bit hours, and we finally get down to Mazuga. And we get there and we meet the dudes, the nomads with the camels. And they're probably not nomads. They're just dressed up as that for the tourists. But that's okay. That's all good. So we get on these camels. And these camels were... they're all tied together in a row, right? So there was 2 rows. There was 2 leaders with multiple camels behind. And each one was tied around the tail in front, around the bottom of the jaw of the one behind. Not through a ring through the nose or anything, just tied around its bottom jaw. Okay, that's preferable probably to putting a ring through its nose. Not sure, but anyway, we'll go with that. We get on this now. I don't know how many out of you guys out there have ridden a camel, but let me just say, on the comfort level between, say, 1 to 10, 1 being not comfortable, or 10 being you're riding in a Rolls Royce, it's about -6. It's not very comfortable at all. We had the 1 hump variety, and there was no, have you seen the elephant rides and stuff where they make a little frame for you? There was none of that shit. None of that. It was just you're on the hump, a bit of a blanket. Now, this camel ride... The camel ride was 6 hours. They didn't tell us that bit in the brochure. Far out. I tell you what, it was horrendous on your backside. Those humps, although they're meant to be some sort of fat or something, water storage thing, there was no water feeling. There was no waterbed swishy on the hump. It was hard. Anyway, and we're walking along these ridges. We start getting to the sand dunes. We're walking along these ridges, right? And these sand dunes are freaking massive, by the way. They're not like I pictured. I pictured like as big as a house, but no, these things are big as like huge. Anyway, but they're quite a narrow ridge at the top we're walking along, and my camel started getting the shits. Now, I'm at the very end. I got the last camel. I got no one tied on my ass. And my camel started to behave like a really unbalanced trailer. And all of a sudden, he starts swaying and swaying. And then he slips off the side of the ridge, right? But now he slipped off, and he's hooked him by his jaw to the next one's ass. And he's slipping down the ridge. I'm trying to hold on for all hell with nothing but a blanket, as my camel is squealing like a freak, obviously in pain because his jaw's been ripped out, trying to get back up. Anyway, the guy at the front yells something, hey, camel, get back in line, whatever, and the camel gets back in line, it's making all these weird noises. I thought it was starting to break down. Anyway, so the camels, lads riding past with tricky things on the backs of their bikes to make a nice sound. Anyway, the camels does this about another 10 times, and I'm like yelling out to the dude, hey man, my camel's psycho. I spent the whole 6 hours fighting to stay on board a camel that was having its jaw ripped off and was very pissed off. Anyway, that's not even part of the story either, really. It's part of the story, it's not the story. Anyway, so we're in there. Now, we're out with these nomads for 4 nights, right? And we get there, and by the time we get there, it's well and truly dark. And we're staying under this cool spot, right? We're amongst all these massive sand dunes. I didn't know how big they'd got, though. So we've got this blanket over a stick, and we're cooking in there in the, what do they call them, tangieri things? Well, I don't know, those clay pot things they've got that look like something you'd cook meth in. We're cooking in those, and here's a kicker. The girlfriend I'm travelling with at the time, she's a hardcore vegetarian. And she's not just hardcore. She's like, complains about everything that's not vegetarian. So she didn't think this out. Because we get out there, and they're basically serving us lamb with veggies. Limited veggies, mainly lamb with a hint of veggie, right? So she won't eat. And she's a fucking pain in the ass about it. And I'm like, well, you're going to starve to death because you can't live on 3 bits of potato. She was determined to, or complain dying on the way through. So we're in this. Anyway, I get to the stage where I'm like, shit, I need a bit of a piss. Gotta do a piss. So I take one. They say, yeah, take the lantern. And I walk out into these sand dunes, and I put the lantern down behind me, and all of a sudden, the lantern's right at my feet. And no, it doesn't burn me, but it projects my shadow upwards onto the sand dunes. Now, whilst we've been trekking for the last 2 hours in the dark, these sand dunes have now got ginormous, massive. And I remember the fear going through me as I thought, we're right at the bottom of all these things, and if this sand even moves a tiny bit in the night, we are so far under the ground that no one's ever going to find us. It was absolutely one of the most chilling things that had happened to me in my life. Just for that moment of, holy shit, they're massive. Anyway, that's not even the point of the story. My point of the story is we're out there for, it was 4 nights. Yeah, it was 4 nights. 5 days and it was 4 nights. Now, I've got a real problem when I'm away from home. I was born in England. Don't hold that against me. Everyone does. I know. Poms. We shit at cricket. We shit at everything. Good at trekking around the world, trashing joints, though. That we're exceptional at. Anyway, so I'm out there, and my pommy ass will not shit on anything but a proper toilet, and preferably my own toilet. I'll tolerate one in my hotel room after a good inspection that is absolutely clean, because you have to when you travel, but I ain't shitting away from home otherwise, and I didn't really plan that. Like the vegetarian thing for my missus, I didn't plan the shit thing. So, there's nothing out there. It's sand. Something, what am I going to do in the morning? I'm eating all this lamb and meat and stuff and veggies with gravy, stewed. I'm going to need a shit in the morning. So I think I laid there most of the night awake thinking about what was going to happen in the morning. And 11-year-old kid flying past on a motorbike. Love it. No helmet. Great. And so I lied awake most of the night worrying that the sand dunes were going to cover us up so I wouldn't have to worry about doing the shit in the morning. But that didn't happen. So I woke up and I needed a shit. And I thought, well, I'm just not going to. And my butt has also got this amazing feature. So I love camping. I go camping all the time. And if I go camping for 2 or 3 days, my ass just shuts down because it knows it ain't shitting anywhere but on the toilet. So it shuts down. I don't even need to shit. It's great. Like a mind over matter thing. It's bloody fantastic. So I woke up in the morning. I probably needed to shit. I didn't feel like it at all. I was like, you'll be OT. Ripper. We're all good here. We're all good for 4 days. I can rely on my camping kick-in to protect me for this trip. Fan-bloody-tastic. Worked a treat for the 4 days. Absolutely great. Well, now, we get on the camel. As you can imagine, I'm already sat on the grumpiest camel on the back on the way home, right? For another 6 hours on the way out. And I'm sat on a big round hump, but now also inside me, it feels like I'm sat on a cricket ball. Anyway, let's not get into too much detail there. I managed the 6 hours on the camel. It's not so bad. I think I must have got a different camel because it didn't have a broken jaw or anything, so it was all good. I didn't slip off the dunes this time. And we then get back to Mazuga and jump in the car with Mohammed. Cat Stevens goes in, cat's in the cradle, first thing on. And then we drive to the nearest village. Well, oh my God. My ass realised we were near a toilet. Now keep in mind, been eating meat and veggies pretty much 3 meals a day for 4 days now without doing a dump. So all of a sudden I said, Mohammed, man, we got to stop. I need to take a shit. Le toilette, le emergency, le gonna shit my pants. In your little bus. So he pulls into Zagora, which is a great little town, by the way, and it's got a sign that says Timbuktu that way. You know, the Mr. Moon books. There is a place called Timbuktu. I thought it. So I'm like, oh, cool, get me in the van. And I basically nearly burst through the doors before they opened, ran into this little tourist shop, right? And these tourist shops like a market sort of tourist thing with all the shit hanging everywhere and just like a little path to walk through, and a dude sat at the back and he was walking out to greet me. Well, he didn't have to come in and greet me because I was nearly on his lap before he even got out of his seat because I was about to explode. And I'm like, le toilette. And he's like, oui. I don't know if he allows tourists to use his toilet, but he knew and I knew there was no negotiating this fact. There was only give me access or get a mop or maybe a shovel. So he's like, wee. How ironic, wee. No. He said, come through here. Well, I go through the toilet, bloody fantastic. Open the door, walk in. Holy shit. It's one of those squat toilets. There's no real toilet there. It's just a squat thing, like a shower base with 2 footprints you stand on and the hole full of water. And this thing isn't exactly clean. It wouldn't have passed my previous checks, I can tell you. And to flush it, there's a dirty jar by the side of it and a tap. And you just got to fill up the jar, tip it into the hole and flush it like that. And I'm picturing all these other people that have done that after washing their ass with their hand because they don't use toilet paper. Serious. So, but look, again, at this point, I've just got to get this done. I don't really care. I would have licked it clean to get this thing out of me anyway. So I'll put my feet on things, and now I've never done a squat before. Well, certainly not a shit squat. I don't do that at all. So I pull my pants down and get on little footprint things, and I squat down. And I'm like, all right, go. But of course, this thing is now like probably a semi-cylindrical brick. So it's going to take a bit more to deliver than just your normal day-to-day, if you know what I'm saying. Don't want to get into too much detail. But it's like, I'm waiting. And I'm picturing this horrible water below me, but I don't really care. I just got to get this thing out. And all of a sudden, my legs, the lactic acid kicks in, and then it's shaking. I'm like, no. And I'd had to put my hands on the floor to stop myself falling over. But I thought, I don't care. I've got to get this thing out of me. I don't care. I've got to get this out of me. Now my legs. Anyway, well, this thing came out, and of course, because it was like a cylindrical brick, it was 4 days worth of lamb, which I'll follow up with the lamb later. It was 4 days worth of lamb and vegetables with gravy. And let's just say, when this thing landed, it was my worst nightmare. It was worse than having putting the hands on this thing. It went fadoosh, like launching a boat. And it went, and all that dirty water sprayed all over my pristine English ass. I shrieked. It even went on my pants, it went on everything, because it's pretty hard to actually squat. If you're a dude, right, maybe girls wear a different thing, but as a dude, you sort of weave forward a bit, so you got to hold your willy down. And shit. Anyway, talking about that. It's all over me now. I'm absolutely horrified, and basically I just start crying. I'm sort of weeping. I'm just like, oh my God, I've been terrified. Anyway, that's fine. No toilet paper. I'm yelling out, hey, Mohammed, because I'm assuming the guy in the shop's called Mohammed as well. Mohammed, le papier de la hygienique, which is toilet paper in French. And he's like, no. Oh, fuck me. Fuck my life. So now I've got dirty shit water all over my ass. I've now got to wipe my bum with water in my hand and then try and see this thing off, which is like a boat, with a jar of water that is similar size to the object I'm trying to dispose of. Well, I'll tell you what, that was an exercise in futility. I was never getting around to that thing. I just gave up in the end. So I gave myself the best wash down I could. And I'll be honest, I was pretty relieved. I felt pretty good to be expelling that thing. But I got back on that bus and everyone looked at me and they knew in my face that I was horrified what had just happened to me. No one spoke to me about it, which I don't suppose they would now think about that problem. But I just sat on that bus and thought, I wonder if I smell like shit water. Yeah, anyway, I didn't even tip the dude in the shop. Oh, and on the lamb thing, right? Yes, that was my story. It's not even that exciting now. Think about it. I don't know why I'm telling you about doing a shit, but the lactic acid thing, my God, that happens quick. It happens quick. When you're not used to squatting, it's terrible. I've never used a squat toilet since, I can tell you. But I've never gone with a camel into the desert since either. That did sort of take the edge off it. The other thing too, when they were feeding us this lamb, right, I thought, this is bloody great, this lamb. I thought, I wonder where they're keeping the lambs. We're a long way from anywhere, and there's no sheep out in the Sahara. So one day we went for a bit of a walk over the sand dunes, and let's just say there was no lambs, but we did come across several donkeys and a bit. Several donkeys and a bit. So I think we're actually eating donkey. But tell you what, it tasted bloody good, so I didn't mind at all. I would happily recommend donkey to most people. All right, well, I don't know much else for you. It's been a long one, 17 minutes. Jesus Christ, got to shut up. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the comments that I get, especially from my regulars. I really do appreciate it. I hope I entertain you slightly. I think I'm funny. I'm sure I think I'm funny. But hopefully slightly educational, you know. So if you guys do find yourself in bloody Marrakesh and you're thinking of booking the tour, you've got to consider what you're going to do in the sand dunes for 4 days. I don't tell you that. But no, I do appreciate it. I really, really like to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you can just think about it, just do it. It's not that hard. Just do it. Just subscribe. I promise you I don't always talk about doing shit. That's fairly rare. But yeah, there's other things that might pique your interest a little bit. So anyway, Sahara, hashtag Sahara. Need a sponsorship, Sahara. It's very chilly, 31 here today. Dropped off a little bit in temperature, thank goodness. I don't mind it, but when you get 32 to 34 is just slightly too hot. Happy with the 30 to 32. That's what it's doing right now. All right, guys. Pommy pasty white legs. See, I'm not lying, am I? You know. All right, guys. I will catch you next time. And please like, please subscribe, and well, share. Do that too. Send me a message. Give me a comment. Where's the worst place you've taken a shit? No, actually don't. Leave that bit off. All right, cool. All right. Thanks, guys. Cheers.